Imagine waking up every day feeling like your own body is a stranger, a battlefield scarred by addiction, where every step forward feels like walking through quicksand. That was me, tangled in a web of despair, convinced that escape was a fantasy. But here's the twist. I didn't just fight to save myself. I chose to become a lighthouse for others lost in the storm. In the darkest moments, the obstacles weren't just cravings or withdrawal. They were the shadows of guilt, shame, and isolation, whispering that I was beyond repair. What pulled me through wasn't a magic fix. It was carving out new rituals that rewired my brain and heart. I started by reclaiming my mornings, not with coffee, but with 10 minutes of grounding breaths, eyes closed, feeling my feet firmly planted on the earth. This simple act rewired my nervous system from panic to presence. Next, I replaced the toxic voices in my head with a tangible accountability anchor, a journal where every honest thought and small victory was inked down. Writing became a mirror, reflecting progress that my mind tried to hide from me. But transformation isn't linear. When old urges crashed in like tidal waves, I didn't just resist, I redirected. I channeled that raw energy into creating a digital community, a sanctuary where stories like mine could be shared without judgment. Watching others find their voice ignited my own healing flame, proving that connection is a powerful antidote to addiction's loneliness. The real breakthrough? Learning to celebrate fractured progress. Healing isn't about perfection. It's about showing up for yourself on the days you want to disappear. I learned to say, today, I choose one kind act for myself. Sometimes that was as simple as holding a glass of water or stepping outside to feel the sun on my skin. Now I stand not just as a survivor, but as a guide. If you're watching this, know that your path is unique. Start small. Identify one moment in your day where you can pause and breathe deeply. Write down one truth about your struggle without judgment. Reach out, even if it's just typing a message to someone who understands. Your journey is a mosaic, each broken piece a story of resilience. Healing doesn't erase the past. It transforms it into a foundation for a future built on courage and compassion. So take that first shaky step. The road ahead is yours to shape, one brave breath at a time. But let me take you deeper into what this journey really entails. Addiction is often misunderstood as just a series of bad choices or a lack of willpower, but it's far more complex. It's a deeply rooted neurological hijacking, a survival mechanism gone awry, and an emotional wound that screams for healing. When I first embraced this truth, it changed everything. I stopped blaming myself and started understanding the why behind my behavior. This shift in perspective was the soil where new growth could take root. Healing became less about fighting my past and more about befriending my present self. I started talking to myself with kindness instead of criticism, recognizing that every setback was a signal, not a failure. I learned to listen closely to what my body and mind were telling me. Sometimes it was exhaustion, sometimes fear, sometimes a cry for connection. I also began to explore the power of community beyond the digital space. I joined local support groups where faces and stories intertwined to form a tapestry of hope. Hearing others' journeys helped me realize I wasn't alone in the shadows. We shared laughter, tears, and the unspoken understanding that healing is a collective effort. This human connection became a lifeline, reminding me that vulnerability is strength, not weakness. Alongside community, I discovered the importance of creative expression. Painting, writing poetry, and even simple doodling became outlets for emotions too complex for words alone. These acts were more than hobbies. They were cathartic rituals that allowed me to externalize pain and transform it into beauty. Creativity rekindled a part of me that addiction had nearly extinguished, the spark of joy and imagination. Physical movement, too, played a crucial role. I started with gentle stretches, mindful walks, and eventually found solace in yoga. Each movement was a message to my body. You are safe, you are loved, you are healing. These practices helped release stored tension and trauma, reconnecting me with the wisdom held within my own flesh and bones. Nutrition became another pillar of my recovery. I learned to nourish my body with foods that supported mental clarity and emotional balance. This wasn't about strict diets or deprivation, but about honoring my body's needs and fueling my resilience. Small changes, like adding more fruits and vegetables or drinking enough water, compounded over time, creating a foundation of strength from which to rebuild. Spirituality, whatever form it took, offered another layer of healing. For me, it was about finding meaning beyond myself, a connection to something greater. Meditation, prayer, or simply moments of awe in nature opened doors to peace and acceptance. These experiences helped me surrender control and trust the unfolding of my journey. Throughout this process, setbacks were inevitable. There were days when the weight of cravings and old patterns threatened to pull me under. But instead of succumbing to despair, I practiced radical self-compassion. I reminded myself that healing is a winding path, full of twists and turns. Each stumble was an opportunity to learn, to adjust, and to grow stronger. I also embraced the power of boundaries, saying no to toxic relationships, unhealthy environments, and even to my own destructive impulses became acts of self-preservation. Creating safe spaces, both physically and emotionally, was essential for my ongoing recovery. Another revelation was the importance of celebrating every milestone, no matter how small. Each sober hour, each moment of clarity, each act of self-care was a victory worthy of recognition. These celebrations fueled my motivation and built a positive feedback loop of hope and perseverance. As my story unfolded, I realized that sharing it was not just a way to heal myself, but a gift to others. Vulnerability became a bridge, connecting hearts and breaking down isolation. Through storytelling, I found purpose and a renewed sense of identity, not defined by addiction, but by resilience and growth. If you're on this path, know that your story matters. Your pain is valid, your courage immense. Recovery is not a destination, but a lifelong journey of self-discovery and renewal. Some days will be bright and clear, others stormy and uncertain. Embrace them all, for they are the threads that weave your unique tapestry. Remember, transformation is possible. It begins with a single choice, a breath, a word, a step. It's in the small acts of kindness you offer yourself and the moments of connection you cultivate with others. It's in the forgiveness you grant to your past and the hope you hold for your future. So when you wake up tomorrow, try this. Sit quietly for a moment, breathe deeply, and remind yourself that you are here, alive, and capable of change. Write down one thing you are grateful for, no matter how simple. Reach out to someone who can support you, even if just to say hello. You are not alone on this road. Together, we form a constellation of light, guiding each other through the night. Healing is messy, non-linear, and sometimes painful, but it is also beautiful, powerful, and deeply human. Take heart in this truth and step forward with courage. Your future is not defined by your past, but by the strength you summon today. One breath at a time, one moment at a time, one kind act at a time. This is how we reclaim our lives and rewrite our stories.